Hello everybody, welcome to Sane Game Studios. I'm Sane, I'm an amateur game developer. Today on Gamemaker Tutorials, I'm going to be taking a look at the typewriter effect for your text box. So I don't actually have a text box, I'm just going to be drawing it to the screen, but the method and how this is done is the same. So today I'm going to be going over how to input a string and how to draw that string one character at a time, and then I will also be implementing a sound effect to accompany that. There is one important issue that's going to be arising once we have this all being drawn, and I'm going to try to slow down the video and show you guys exactly what that issue is. And I won't be addressing it in this video, but releasing at the exact same time as this video is another video that is going to do that. So I'm going to have a part 1 and a part 2, and then if there is a demand for it, like if you guys want it, like let me know. I will do a part 3, and that part 3 will be how to implement this into a text box, and then also how to have like multiple strings that you want to draw. So like you would have a string drawn in the text box, you hit the next button, and then it draws the next string. Alright, so with that out of the way, I can show you guys what I have going for a starter project. Very simply, I just have one room, and it is 360 by 240, and it's got a viewport that is set to 1440 by 960. First thing I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be bringing in a font. I'm just going to call this FNT font. I'm going to make it be Born to be Sporty, which if you guys are not new to my videos, you will recognize this font. It's the one that I use in my videos. I'm going to crank its size up to 26. That way it's just nice and big and easy to read on the screen. Next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be creating an object, because in Gamemaker, everything that we do always happens in an object. So I'm just going to call this oText. I'm going to go to the create event, and I'm just going to establish a few variables. I'm going to say draw the text, and it is going to equal false. Text to draw, and it is going to equal, this is a test script, over and over and over and over and over again. And then finally, count. Count is the important one. You do not need to have text to draw, like your string, be in a variable like this. The important thing is that you have count. Next, I'm going to go to the step event, and I'm just going to say if keyboard check pressed VK space draw the text equals true. And the only reason I'm doing that is just so that it doesn't immediately start drawing the text when you open the project. I want to be able to hit space and initialize it. Next, I'm going to go into my draw GUI event. Let me say if draw the text. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my font. I'm going to create a local variable, and I'm going to call it text, and it is going to equal string copy. String copy. The string I want to copy is text to draw, and that's actually the main reason why I've stored my string into a variable, is because it's easier to punch it into a function if it's stored in a variable. Index 1 count is going to equal count. And then I'm going to say draw text. I'm going to say 20, 50, text. I'll go over all this once I'm done. And then finally count plus plus. Actually, I'm going to say if count is less than string length text to draw. count plus plus. Okay, so what am I doing here? First I'm seeing if draw the text is true, and if it is true, I'm going to be setting my font so that I draw the text in the proper font. Finally, I'm creating a local variable, and I'm grabbing the string copy of text to draw 1 and count. Okay, so what is string copy? So what string copy does is you feed it a string. You give it a starting index of that string. In this case, I'm using 1 because when it comes to the index of strings, it's not like the index of like arrays or lists where it starts at 0. The index of a string actually starts at 1. So 1 will be the first character in your string. And then I'm going to be copying all of the characters up until the value of count and then storing it in this variable. And then I am going to be drawing that. And then if count is less than the total string length of the string that I want to draw, I'm going to be increasing it by 1. So what this is going to do is it's going to grab the string that I want to draw, and it is going to start off by, because count starts at 0, by grabbing just the first letter of that string, and then every single frame is going to add a letter to it, and then store that in the string that I have here in text. And like string copy is, I don't know if it's the only way, but I know it's the best way to get a typewriter effect. So if I hit F5 and I go to play this, oh, I gotta put it in the room. So I hit F5, I go to play this. And when I hit space, you're going to see my string grow across the screen. Which is exactly what we want for for my typewriter effect. But as you can see, one of the biggest issues that I was having is it's just going to keep growing past the screen. So to fix that, I'm just going to create a limit and tell it to do a line break when it hits that limit. So I'm going to go draw text extend. The maximum width that I want to do, I'm going to say 1200 because my window and the draw GUI event has an overall width of 1440. And then my width, I'm going to set that to 30. And if I run this now, what's my issue? Oh, separation 30 and then width 1200. Okay. So it breaks into a new line and it just keeps going until it reaches the end of the string. So one more thing that I want to be able to do in this tutorial is I want to be able to add a sound effect to make it sound like it's typing out. And you would actually think that every single time that you draw a character, you want to be playing the sound effect for that character being drawn. That is not the case. If you were to do that, because we're drawing another character every single frame. So if you have a 60 character string, it's going to take 1 whole second to draw it out because we're doing 1 more character per frame. There is 60 frames per second, at least in this project, and that will just cause it to take a second, right? So what's happening is you would be, if you were to play the sound effect, every single time that you were adding a character to your string, you're going to be playing the sound effect 60 times in 1 second, and it will just sound like a jumbled mess. So actually the first thing I'm going to do before I get too deep into this is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to create a new sound. And then I'm just going to import, let's see, SFX text. I'm going to import the sound that I want. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out just so you guys don't look too much into my folders. Okay, so now I have a sound effect for my text. I'm going to go ahead and implement that. But the way I'm going to do that is I'm actually only going to play the sound effect every 4 frames. So the easiest way to do this is I'm just going to go if count mod 4 equals 0, audio play sound. I'm going to go SFX text. The priority, I'm just going to make it 1 because it's my only sound effect. And loops is going to be false. And you see, doing it every 4th frame is a much better way of doing it rather than every single frame. Like, here, I'll show you what it would sound like if we just did it every single frame. It's going to sound terrible. So if we do it every 4th frame, it's actually going to sound a lot more proper. And you can change that. You can be like if count mod 5, if count mod 3, whatever value you want. I just found that 4 is a nice, good pace for the sound effect. But one thing, I don't know if you've noticed, I'm gonna try to slow down the footage here and show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. But as it's drawing the text, when it hits the end of the line, it draws like half of the next word, and then it hits its width parameter, and then it jumps to the next line. And that's actually something that we are going to be addressing in part 2, and it's just going to clean up the effect a lot more. So with that, I'm just going to thank you guys very much for watching. I really hope that you found this helpful, and I hope you tune in for part 2. The only reason I separated it into 2 videos is because it would be a very, very long video, and enough of my videos are very long as it is. But there you have it. There are the basics of a typewriter effect. And in part 2, we're going to be cleaning it up a little bit, and then possibly I'll be doing a part 3. We'll be implementing that into like talking to an NPC and actually having it run in a text box. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions about what I've done today, absolutely throw them down into the comments. I will do my best to help you out. I am actually a YouTube taught programmer. I taught myself how to do this watching YouTube videos, and this specific thing is no exception. So I'm actually going to be linking the video that taught me how to do this in the description down below. If you have any suggestions for tutorial ideas, you can go ahead and let me know, and I will gladly do those tutorials. So with that, that's all that I have for this video. I hope you guys are having a good one, and peace out.